guys, Snyder from GoSoGamersNet here, sitting with Snute on IEM World Championship Day 4. Snute, you're unfortunately out, couldn't make the group stages. Were you unprepared coming into the tournament, or was there any other reason for your misfortunes, let's say that?
I wasn't as well prepared as I should have been, or I guess, I mean, theoretically I could have played a lot more Heart of the Swarm, but I had so many Wings of Liberty tournaments that I chose to focus more on Wings of Liberty. And yeah, I'm not that good at getting used to new things quickly and adapting to new things. So at first when I get into Heart of the Swarm, you know, learning takes a long time for me. But apart from that, my mindset wasn't the best, and I was feeling, yeah, not really that good when I was playing my matches, and my physical shape wasn't that good as well. I was feeling a bit sick, as usual.
Speaking of new things, do you like the new Zerg stuff overall, and the direction the Zerg race is being pushed to?
To me personally, I like the Zerg changes a lot. Not in CVC. I like the Ling Baneling Muta. I like the Ling Baneling Wars, but I prefer the previous state of the matchup because it was a little bit more versatile. Sure, you could say that it was only infestors, but I think it was a little bit more strategic than what it is now. But I like CVP a lot because Zerg really has to be aggressive and hit timings, and that's a style that I like to play. It's not just the camping where you have to go for Broodlord Infestor. You can actually be aggressive, and it's actually in the game now to be aggressive against Protoss and stop them before they get too far. Because, you know, the roles have switched now, so it's Protoss is the new Zerg.
Yeah, this is exactly what Stefano said. Like, you kind of have to.
Yeah, it's turned all the way around. So, but to me, I don't really mind because, you know, Protoss has been.
Probably you're one of the few Zergs that this suits well, because we've been talking to guys. It's like, oh, now you know I can't. I used to go to late game and beat him there with Brutals, but now I can't because I have Voidres and I have to kill them all, and I don't really know how.
I think it's extremely difficult to kill a Protoss that has an army value, you know, around the 15-16 minute mark, if they get the Void Rays and the Templar and the Tempest. Like, the Tempest do so much damage to Broodlords now, so going Broodlords is extremely difficult, but I think we just need a little bit of time to get used to it, and only then will we see if it's actually a little bit broken or not. There are a few concerns I have about the Tempest in combination with Templars and some different stuff, but time will tell, and I will just try to find a balance and kill the Protoss before they get to that stage.
So, speaking of mid-game aggression, one of the units that was supposed to bring this was the Swarm Host, kind of like a mid-game siege unit with which the Zerg lacked in Wings of Liberty, but so far it's not been doing too well, the unit in particular and the players that's been using it. We've been talking to guys and they said maybe it's a problem of not finding the timing. Other opinions are like the unit is just bad. What do you think the truth about the Swarm Host is?
The thing about the Swarm Host is that you need to have a critical mass of it before it's really effective. Of course, you can use it in combination with your army and have, for example, 5 Swarm Hosts that make Locusts, so you get a couple of free units together with your army. But in situations like that, it's usually just as okay to just make normal units, and you know, you don't really get that much value. The Swarm Host is quite effective together with Corruptors. But I still feel like, yeah, I don't know if we just need to learn to use them better. But right now it seems kind of risky. They are kind of like the Hydralisk in Wings of Liberty. You can use them as a siege unit, but if you lose them, then you will be in so much trouble. So I think it can be a really good unit, but you also need to not make any mistakes at all when you use them.
So, stepping away from Heart of the Swarm for a little while, I want to take you back to the start of your career. You kind of broke out on the scene in mid-2011, I'd say, but and although you didn't have that much Premier tournament exposure or wins, you were always kind of on the radar. Do you think it's because you're one of the few Norwegian players to actually compete professionally in StarCraft 2, or was there any other reason?
Sorry. If there was any reason why I was on the radar?
Yeah, why were you on the radar so much and constantly without getting that much Premier Tournament exposure?
No, it's because I played in so many tournaments. Like ever since I went full time, I've been just playing so many tournaments, so many online minor tournaments and Playhem Cups, etc. So I've got my fair share of exposure there, and I just haven't been to that many Premier tournaments. And in the beginning, I was eliminated in the early rounds, so I didn't really get that that well known. But eventually, it's just built up gradually. But yeah, I don't really know how to answer the question. I'm sorry.
That's fair. Okay, so of course your career peaked at Home Story Cup, the last one. Amazing performance there. Of course, everybody knows that. Did you have any special preparation going to this tournament, particularly, or like how did you manage to win after so many, let's say, early round eliminations, etc.?
Yeah. It wasn't exactly early round eliminations, but I had lots of third places and second places leading up to the Home Story Cup. And I think the reason why I was so successful at Home Story Cup was because I was feeling great about myself and my condition. I was practicing a lot, and all of that practice just made me play even better, and I had some good results. So yeah, I was just in really good shape.
Did the environment of the Home Story Cup, setting in an apartment and not in front of a huge audience, help you in any way, like being more homely and cozy?
Yeah, I'm a lot more nervous on stage, and I start thinking about lots of things I shouldn't be thinking about. I mean, things outside the game when I'm on stage. So playing at Home Story Cup is probably one of the best environments. The absolute best, of course, is when you play at home. But Home Story Cup is definitely the best tournament setting I've been in, just because it's not a big stage. But the more I am on stage, I'll get more used to it. And even if this experience was not the best for me, I was a lot more nervous when I was at IPL 5 and played against Bomber on stage. So I think it will get better over time. I just need to not have that high expectations of myself, and eventually the results will come, just like it did with Home Story Cup and all the other events.
So you're Team Liquid's newest recruit. How did this partnership came to be? Who approached who, when, how much time did you negotiate, conditions, etc.?
It started when I announced on Twitter that I would be teamless from 2013, from New Year's. And then lots of different teams came in contact with me, and then I talked to them and negotiated quite a lot with the different teams. So yeah, that's pretty much how it happened.
Can you say which teams approached you besides Liquid?
No.
No. Okay. I'm sorry. So blacked out my question. Anyway, so I was going to ask you that Heart of the Swarm, it's been looked at something that will change the playing field, right? It basically introduces new units, new skills, whatever, and one of the theories is that it will give a chance to like Casper players that are used to Broodwar mechanics and they have excelled mechanically to do even better in Heart of the Swarm, because now we have some people say it's more micro-manage focus because you have more spellcasters, more spells to use. Do you see this as true, or is it basically if you were good in Wings of Liberty, you will be good in Heart of the Swarm regardless?
At the core of the game, the fundamentals are still the same, so anyone with fundamental skills, for example, Stefano is a good example. He has such strong fundamental understanding of the game that even when he played HOTS here, it went fairly well.
He hasn't playing at all.
Yeah, he didn't practice at all, and it's still fine. So on that level, when it comes to improving at the game, etc., then it's still about a lot of the same things. But it's exactly as you say. In Heart of the Swarm, there are more units that are being used at the same time, and it's a lot more micro-intensive. And the need for burst multitasking is a lot higher. There are those moments in battles, take Vipers for example, where you have to do so many things at once. So Casper players that already have excellent mechanics might have an edge here. But anything can be trained, but main point is the skill ceiling for army control is, yeah, it's higher.
Speaking of CeBIT players, a lot of them made it into competitive StarCraft 2, and most of them actually retired. I mean, I'm talking about the old guys like Nada, July, etc. We've now seen even ESF players that have been on for a long time seeing a decline in Wings of Liberty. There's been talks like the old dogs losing relevance. Do you think that Heart of the Swarm is actually calling for a generation change? Like the old dogs will step down after 3 years of competition, after 3 years of dominating, and Heart of the Swarm will open the doors to new guys, new talent emerging on the scene.
We see some players have extra success in Heart of the Swarm, such as Ragnarok, who is now on LGIM. He's the best example of an up-and-comer who got a significant boost in Heart of the Swarm. So for some it's a good opportunity, but apart from that I think it's just very individual. If some people decide to retire, and if they do so because of HOTS and they don't feel like playing it, then they would have retired eventually anyway, I believe. I don't know, it's just very individual if you want to keep playing or yeah.
So you spend a little time in Ministry of Wind practicing. I remember one of your first interviews, you were very satisfied with the conditions. In the process, as months went by, more and more problems were started to appear in Ministry of Wind. We still haven't talked to anybody there, but I wanted to ask your opinion. From your entry into the training house till your departure, was there a moment that you felt like regretting staying there? Were there any problems, or Ministry of Wind training practice was all positive for you?
And there were some issues. The place wasn't perfect, and one of the things that bothered me was the internet connection. It would drop out sometimes, and fortunately it dropped. It didn't drop at a crucial moment, like for example when I was playing the qualifiers for IPL. And that's pretty much the thing that annoyed me the most. But I didn't really regret staying there because of the people that stayed there, the other pro gamers, and staying with them was such a good experience. And we had a really good team spirit, you can say. And we were all there to improve and to work together and inspire each other. So yeah, just because of the other people there, I didn't really regret going there now.
There are a lot more examples of foreign organizations copying the Korean lifestyle, like building up training houses, trying to attract players to have them improve. Do you think that? But like very few of them have actually produced results that are visible in Premier tournaments. Like there is nobody on the top of my head that I think like Ministry of Wind and a player that won an MLG or something like this, something big, just because of Ministry of Wind practice. Do you think that the foreign organizations are doing something wrong when taking those Korean templates of foreign houses, and applying them to foreign players?
No, I think once again it's very individual, and it might just be coincidences, but for the most part it's just that there are not that many European players, for example, staying in team houses. I don't know about the American players. I believe we have had more American team houses than European.
E.g. Complexity.
Yeah, and Quantic, I believe.
Quantic had one too.
So I can't speak for them, and no, from my experience in the Ministry of Wind, I feel like everybody who stayed there, even though individual, none of us became stars overnight, and none of us just had this amazing experience where our skill doubled and we just jumped up 50 spaces on Grandmaster, It wasn't like that. But I feel like everyone who stayed there improved quite a lot over the time, but that's also natural. You also improve over time from staying at home, of course. So yeah, I mean, one of the most useful things about staying in a team house is that everything's taken care of for you, like laundry and food. And I think if a player manages to get into such a condition and stay healthy and work out and play that amount without getting depressed or stuff like that, if you have other people around you and you're being social, then yeah, just staying in the Ministry when was a really optimal training environment in that regard.
So onto this tournament in question, your teammate Red crushing everybody. I think he's the only human mana or the only foreigners remaining. Yep. But from what we've seen with Red, nobody can really come on his level. He crushed. Who did he beat last? Dream. What was his first match in the play?
Sting.
Oh yeah, that's right, Sting. So this was like an absolute stomp. His group was absolute stomp. What the hell is Red doing right? And why is no other Zerg able to go that far?
I think that once again it's very individual.
I mean, just in this case, like.
No, yeah, you'll have to ask Red, I suppose. But he's been practicing really hard, a lot more than he used to, I think. So, and he also traveled home to take a break and chill out and watch the games. So he was being really methodical, and he planned it out really well. So that's why I think he is having extra success at this tournament. And I think it's easy to forget how good and how much potential he actually has sometimes, because he hasn't had the most amazing results last year, for example, towards the end. But yeah, Red is always one of those that actually is really good and can cause upsets like this. So to me, yeah, it's just him being in good shape, and that's how strong he is when he is in shape. So yeah.
Can he beat Youngwa?
Yeah, of course. I mean, look at how well he did in the CVPs in the group stage. So yeah, that's absolutely possible. I believe in him, at least.
Maybe if he beats, we have a foreigner in the final. So that's one thing to look forward to. Okay, so this was Najra from Gross Gamers. We were here with Snute. Snute, if you have anything to your fans, just shoot it to a camera.
Yeah, I was a little bit emotional this tournament, so I didn't really play my best. And yeah, I'm going to work really hard on my mentality for the next offline tournaments. And yeah, I also want to thank everyone who's supporting me and my team. And of course, shoutouts to my sponsors, Razer, Twitch, Barracuda, and the Shiny Things. It's yeah, very much appreciated.
I think emotional works very well for you. Don't become a Korean robot. This was Najra. Once again, I am Hanover Day 4. Stay with us as we bring you more coverage as the tournament goes on. Thanks.